morning, it's Leanne Peters here, and I'm here to create what we call our personal healing event. That's for some of my Temple of Balance patrons for March 2025. So got the sun shining in my eyes, so I guess I didn't need my light today. We're going to have shadows moving across the video, no doubt. So welcome. I have 7 people on the list today, so I'm going to be here for over an hour, probably up to about an hour and 15 minutes. If you would like to stay or hang about, you're very welcome to, or come and go as you see fit or as you need to. So I want to thank everyone who is on the list today and for your support for my Temple of Balance work. So what I'll be doing, good morning Robin, it's lovely to see you. What I'll be doing is I've got everyone's name here in my little frog pot, and I'm going to pull the names out randomly and connect with each person in that way. So when I pull your name out, I'll connect with you. So I'm going to spend about 10 minutes connecting with each person. It's not strictly timed, so some of the connections might be a little bit shorter, some might be a bit longer. I really want to just flow with the energy, and I don't want to have a timer or anything going or any sort of alarm. So it's not strictly at 10 minutes, but it's approximately 10 minutes, so probably between 8 and 12 minutes in length, and I'll be connecting with each person individually. Whatever's loudest in your vibration is going to get my attention first. That's how the energy works, or how I connect with it at the very least. So I'll connect with you. Whatever's loud will get my attention. I'll feel things happening in my body. I'll get flashes or an insight as I'm going, just depending on how the energy's coming through. And then I will do what I feel and determine needs to be done, basically to help perhaps bring things back into balance, or to help clear things that may feel like they're holding you back. I'll get a sense of whether something needs to stay or something needs to shift, and hopefully I can work through that and support you with whatever you need to move or ground or calm down, or whatever it might be that you need. So I trust in the connections that are made, and I trust that hopefully you receive what you need. So I'm going to be working in conjunction with my Healing Energy cards. I have 2 decks combined here. We have Healing Energy Cards Deck 1, which is my upgraded original deck, and then the newest deck, Healing Energy Cards 2, have been combined. So I've got 110 Healing Energy cards here in my hand, and I'll be starting every connection with a card, and I'll be finishing each connection with a card as well. And then we'll see how we go. So I trust that makes sense to you, and let's see who's first on my list today. So coming out of my little frog pot is this person here, and it is Susan Sonsteng. So Susan, please take a nice big breath, and let's see which card you need to start your connection today. So nice big breath, and your best card is, well, we'll go with this card. It's from the first deck, Healing Energy Cards 1, and we have this. It's card 21, called Third Eye Opening. So let's try and get this in some proper light. 21, and it's in the Rise category here. And down here it says deep opening, healing trust issues, awakening intuition, trust in the flow of life, and trust in yourself. Now, as I say that too, as I say trust in yourself and coming off trust in the flow of life, something sort of locks or drops down inside, especially in the belly. So there's something dropping down that I can feel as I say those things. So, and it also says pass through the doorway and overcome obstacles. So this is moving through. This is really highlighting your third eye chakra. So your third eye chakra is your center for vision. So your ability to have a vision for yourself, a vision for your future, a vision for things. vision, intuition, and trust. Now, I want to go back into that energy of trust because now I say it again, I can feel more energy sort of stirring up in your body here, Susan. So, before when I said trust in the flow of life and trust in self, I could feel something drop down in the body. And as I was just talking about the third eye chakra and I mentioned trust again, I could feel something move in your heart. So I feel like there's something deep that's shifting and hopefully shifting out in regards to trust issues. Now, as I'm connecting with this, especially as I was thinking along the trust issues line and then I said it, something's also shifting here in the throat. So the throat chakra, this is our center for communication, expression, and truth, and feeling safe to speak our truth and be who we are. So it feels like there's probably some suppression or some trust issues that have been, perhaps over time, have been squashing your ability to, not in every area of your life, I'm sure, but in some certain areas or around certain people, to be able to communicate or assert yourself in a vocal way. So it feels like there's something here that feels like it's been suppressed and compressed here in your throat that is linked with trust issues and linked with trust. So this could be trust issues with other people. It could even be your own lack of ability of being able to trust in yourself. Although I do get this feeling from you, Susan, as I connect with you, that there has been a growing sense of being able to trust more and more in yourself over the last years. So I feel like this has improved, especially improved compared to, say, 10 or 20 years ago. So that does feel like you've done work around this and you've been building up and strengthening your ability to trust in yourself. But it does feel like there's still something, or there's something that's presenting itself now that is in the way in regards to trust, that is stopping you or halting you from being able to move forward. I feel this now as like an obstacle, like a brick wall in front of you, and there's a part of you that feels like it comes from your heart that wants you to push forward and push past the brick wall or past the obstacle and whatever this brick wall represents. But there's also a part of you as well that feels perhaps like the insecure part. Our insecure part is not a trusting part. Our insecure part of us, that insecure part of you, Susan, most likely feels no trust at all in yourself, or no trust at all in the universe, or in the bigger picture, or in the steps that you're taking in perfect timing, that kind of thing. So there's an insecure part that's holding back, questioning perhaps, or resistant to move through or find a way past the obstacle and move and follow the heart beyond the obstacle, beyond the brick wall, because there is something that's beyond the wall here, that a smaller part. So it feels like this part that wants to move forward, as I'm connecting with you, Susan, it comes from the heart and it wants to push forward. And if you can connect in with your heart and move forward, it's like you don't even need to climb over the obstacle or anything. It's just like it becomes like an invisible wall that you can just walk through when you're in your heart and when you're trusting in your I get this sort of push forward feeling here at the heart. But then there's this little voice or this little part, and it feels like I want to allocate it to a spot, and I feel like I want to bring this insecure part sort of down here on the left side, probably on the left side of your waist. We could even say just over your hips here, but sort of around the area of the navel, but to the side, to the left side. And it feels like this small part, feels like a little dark, scared part, an insecure part. Insecure is probably a really good word to describe this energy that I feel. And it feels hesitant, it feels uncertain, it feels scared about perhaps the obstacle, or scared about what's on the other side. So there's an absence of trust in this energy that's sort of tucked away down here. It's hiding back here, but it also feels very vocal and loud. So what I would like to do is actually, I imagine just collecting this energy like it's a little scared child hiding in the corner. I'd like to just sort of collect this energy and pull it out to the surface. It feels now a bit like an inner child, perhaps an inner child part of you that's been maybe suppressed in the past or held back, or is just scared about change or scared about the unknown. So I bring this little part of you, this insecure part, this inner child, out into the open, out into the air, where it feels like it can be reminded that it's protected, that it's safe, that everything's going to be okay. It's a bit like the inner mother, the inner father protecting and looking after the inner child, and reassuring it it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to survive this. There's no need to feel insecure. We've got this. We'll figure it out. This kind of reassuring sort of energy here. So with the inner child now sort of out of the hidey place, it's sort of standing like perhaps like a 2 or a 3-year-old just here in front of you, and your heart now kicks into gear and your heart moves forward. It sort of glides forward. It doesn't even really step or shuffle or stride, like it's just like a swift movement, and it moves through this wall now, which feels invisible, and moves out the other side. So the wall feels a bit like it was a veil stopping you from whatever it is that you're moving towards, but also that the biggest barrier here is most likely connected with trust, especially your trust in yourself, and the putting your insecurities in their place. So recognizing is there any value in this insecurity that you might be feeling? Or also, what can you learn from this insecurity issue that may be presenting itself, and trying to stop you from moving forward? So this feels very strong and is centered around basically trust. So what you could do, Susan, is keep reinforcing or affirming for yourself with an affirmation that I can trust in myself, I trust in the bigger picture, I trust where I'm going, I trust the steps that I'm taking. I trust that I'm taking the right path. I trust in the choices that I make. I trust that I'm going where I need to go. I'm trusting in the direction upon which I'm moving. These sorts of things can be really helpful to reinforce and really strengthen this energy of trust, self-trust, which is basically the opposite of feeling insecure, unstable, that sort of energy. So I trust that makes sense to you, Susan. Let's grab a card here to add. There's a lot of energy too moving in your third eye chakra now. Obviously it's feeling warm to me because it's sitting now in the sunlight, but it feels very active and very much like a sun really sitting here on the third eye chakra. So there's a strength that's coming into your third eye, a strength in your ability to trust yourself. So what I'd be doing, Susan, too, is working with this moving forward, and use this as an opportunity to really embody and strengthen your ability to trust yourself. So let's grab a card here to add, and the best card to add to finish this connection off is from Healing Energy Cards 2, and we have here we go, being resistless. If you can see that, card 83, it's in the action category here. So it's about forward movement, and down here it says release resistance, fear and anxiety, and go for it. This is so on point with what I was talking about. It is safe for you to proceed. Trust in the unfolding. Be surprised, which means release expectations. Don't hesitate, and summon your courage. So this is you moving forward. And in some ways, this beam of light, which felt like it was a wall before that you could not pass, has now become basically this veil of light, or this invisible wall that you can walk straight through into wherever it is that you're going. So keep moving forward. Be resistless, the absence of resistance. So I trust that makes sense. Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's see who's next. Next on my list is this person. It's Jackie. Jackie, please take a nice big breath. And your best card to start this connection is here. It's Healing Energy Cards, deck 1. And we have Breaking Free, card 41. So this is about stretching past your limitations and into new territory, the unknown, breakthrough, move out of the box, push yourself out of your comfort zone. So there's a sense of growth in this card, a stretching yourself, stretching further, stretching beyond your limitations. This is a stretching out there. So with Susan's energy, I felt very much a forward pull, a pull forward. With this energy, I'm feeling more like a stretching out across across the board, but very much on the upper levels. So I'm just tuning into your energy now, Jackie. Okay, and what I'm seeing is a corner on your path that you're either fast approaching or you're at the turning point of now. But it feels like there's a corner, like a sharp corner, almost like the corner feels it turns back on itself. You know, like some roads, I don't know, but here occasionally you find a road, a random road that has this just really weird turn or a really weird corner. Well, this feels like one of those, like it's a very almost a coming back angle, but it's not coming back. It's not like an exact U-turn and you're going back down the same path as before. It's like going down a path, then a sharp turn, and it's almost going back the same way, but you're going back at a slight angle away. So there's just feels like there's something feels like it's turned or something's coming back to a similar place that you've been in before. But the thing is it's different. It seems similar and it seems like, oh gosh, am I going down that same path again? But actually it's slightly different. It's slightly not on the same path. It's not a U-turn going back down this exact same road. So there is something different here, even though there is a sense that you're perhaps going back down the same road. It's not the exact same road, but there is something strange afoot that's taking place, because it feels like you're going down one way, turning and going down, like I was just saying before. So this feels highlighted at the moment. There's a strong heart pull feeling here, but the pull in the heart feels like it pulls across, almost like a stretching open of the heart, a stretching like you're ripping off your shirt and really stretching and exposing your heart, really opening up through your heart. And I feel like this does this almost a backtrack, but it's not an exact backtrack. But this backtrack requires an open heart. And this is the feeling here. An open heart, a tolerance, a patience is also perhaps required as you kind of backtrack in some ways. So there's something I feel that's still left to be learned, something still left to maybe it ends to still tie up as well, even though it's slightly different to the path that you've just come from. There is something that requires you to go back and sort out some things, perhaps go back, tie up some loose ends, get all of your ducks in a row so then you can proceed forward from there. That's the feeling. So be patient with yourself, allow your heart to stretch open, allow your heart to be exposed, like tap into your heart and your heart's energy to help support you as you figure out what ends need to be tied up, or what you need to do to resolve whatever you're coming from, just so that you can resolve that and then be able to move forward properly from there. I see an umbrella that's been put up over you, so there is a protection that's coming up, a protection especially from external energies. So I don't know if this is people who maybe you might feel that you're under attack from, or just a negative energy that's sort of wanting to shower on you at times, or that you're subject to, or that you're living in, sort of a negativity that's hovering, because this umbrella feels like it's protecting you from the sort of like a negativity shower. So you might want to imagine, Jackie, that you have this umbrella up protecting you from unnecessary and unneeded negativity that may be working to try and pull you down, or try and feel like something's going backwards or something's not right. And something might not be quite right, which is probably why there's this backtrack feeling, and this feeling that something needs to be tied up, or something needs to be resolved that wasn't quite resolved before. So you're sort of going back, revisiting it in some ways on a different level, a slightly different level, so you can resolve that and move forward. But there is a negativity protection over you with this umbrella. It feels like a really light blue, like the sky. So it feels like it's going to help you feel or find clarity in your mind. The showering of negativity will probably halt or affect your ability to tap into that clarity. So I feel like the space in between the umbrella and your own mind is a space where you can find the clarity that you're looking for. And now just allowing some energy to come down. So we're bringing energy down from the universe here. It's like a silvery gray, a silvery blue, a silvery white, and it's coming down like a shower, but it's not negativity. So it actually comes down through the umbrella, because the umbrella only stops the negativity coming through, I feel. So this energy comes down from the universe, this silvery, it's a bit like lunar, it's like a silvery moonlight, and it comes down now through the umbrella and down through your body. And it just helps clear things out. Clears the things that you've been worried and stressing about, clears the burdens that you're carrying over your shoulders, and just clears down through your body, and just really helps you surrender and let go of the things you've been holding on to. And then that energy just carries that down out through the soles of your feet and down into the earth, where it returns back to love. Ultimately, I feel this is about you stretching and expanding yourself. So in some ways, this bit of a test period, perhaps you might see it as so, I'm not sure, but maybe it's a bit of a test period as a part of helping you ultimately grow. So as you move out of this, as you resolve what you've come back to resolve, then that will help you expand as you're moving forward. Let's grab a card to add here for you, Jackie. And that card is... Oh, hi, Jane. Welcome. We seem to have an influx of strange people when I first start live streaming, so I just totally ignore comments for like the first 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, we have this card for you here, Jackie. Healing Energy cards 2. It says Synchronistic Order, card 62. It's in the rest category, so it has a sort of slight pullback feeling. It says constructed, built, structure, hard work, durable and stable building, order, hindsight, looking back. That's interesting. Stability and support, things lining up, and the signs. So you can trust in the signs and the synchronistic order of things as you're moving through this particular time period, Jackie. There is something that's very ordered about this energy. It feels very structured and ordered. So you might find now is the time to kind of create a plan, figure out how to manage this situation, to bring a bit of order and structure into the figuring this out. You might find that helpful too in moving forward. So synchronistic order. Thank you very much, Jackie, and thanks for your support, and I trust this resonates with you. Namaste. Okay, excellent. I'm going to take a little drink, pop these cards back, and we'll see who's next. It's been such interesting weather. It's been, because we're heading towards winter, it's been cold mornings, but the days have been so hot. Like I got sunburnt the other day, which is very unusual for this time of the year. And we're not usually this stable with our weather, so that's also nice. So it's nice and sunny. Okay, next person is KantiDevi Wedad. Kanti, please take a nice big breath, and let's see which card you need to start this connection today. Whoops. And the best card is, let's go with this one. It's from Healing Energy Cards Deck 1, and it's Communication Bridge, card 23. It's in the action category. This is what used to be called the bridge between the heart and the throat. So it says, speak honestly from your heart, bridge the gap. Say what you feel, an opportunity to clear the air, communicate, and express your inner feelings. So this really is highlighting the bridge part. The feather here is the bridge, but it doesn't have to be a feather. It's bridging a gap that's felt, a gap between something and something, between someone or us and someone else, between the past the future or past and the present. Where does it feel like there's a gap? This is something I find valuable to check in with myself often, is where am I feeling a gap with something? Where does it feel separated? Where does it feel like there's just something not quite right? And it could be such a really subtle feeling. And then I'll work on how can I bridge that? How can I bring those energies together? This is especially important for the things that are really close to me. So like I could be right next to my husband, and if we've got a bit of a distance feeling at the moment, it can feel like we're worlds apart. But when we're feeling really close, we can feel like we're just the same one person. So there is just this energy, this dynamic, this relationship that's always at play between us and other things, or us and other people, us and ourselves. So what is the relationship? This is a relationship. All of these things are relationships. What's the relationship like? And if something feels distant, if something feels off, then how can I take steps to bridge that gap? Do I want to bridge the gap? Because relationships fade, relationships come and go, all sorts, friendships, connections with family members, or just people. We move on, people move on. So sometimes we've got to let things go. We can't keep relationships maintained from the moment we were born to the moment we are not here anymore at the same level. So everything's always in flux and shifting around. So what's the bridge that needs to be created between the gaps that we might feel in our life? So Kanti, nice big breath, and let's see what's going on. So I'm actually seeing a bridge. It's like a big arc, like a really strongly arced rainbow. So it's a bridge going from this place to that, and it feels like this land to that land, and there's water in between. So it feels like it could be a physical place or something that feels quite physical, like where your feet are on the ground to where your feet are on the ground. So there's this big rainbow, very arched. So it's very steep, very high up, and then it's sort of flatter at the top, and then it's very steep going down. So it's a very, almost like a horseshoe shape rainbow or bridge that goes from one land to another, and whatever this land represents. So it most likely represents something physical and something physical because it's land. So it's somewhere where you have your feet down. So it could be something to do with work, it could be a living situation, it could even be things to do with, say, survival, say finances, health related, that sort of thing. But it's something physical going to something physical. So there is already this bridge. Now the bridge feels, the more I talk about it and the more I connect with it, the more arched and arc-like this bridge is becoming. Now the closer these land masses come, but the bridge just keeps pushing in on itself. So instead of being a rainbow now, as I was talking about it before, it felt more like a horseshoe. So these land masses are getting closer, but the bridge is not changing. So the bridge is folding up on itself. So it's almost as these land masses almost touch, it's like this, almost like a paper clip now, as it moves up and down almost as one, in one line. So these land masses, whatever these represent, they're getting closer. So there is this closer feeling that's happening with those at this time, but the bridge is not changing. To me, that feels like a little bit of a problem because it's becoming steeper and higher. You might still be walking on the top of the bridge and then it's just becoming steeper and steeper, but the land masses are coming together anyway. So do you need to be changing this bridge? Do you need to be changing your attitude or your behavior or your approach to this land mass and what the land mass represents? Maybe. I sort of feel like I'd like to pull you off the bridge, so off this sort of paperclip sort of thing now, bring you back to the original land mass, so back with your feet on the ground, and then take the bridge out and just create a new little bridge that's basically shorter and goes between these two land masses and what they represent. So what I am curious about, and maybe it's worth journaling on, Kanti, what do these land masses represent? Especially the one on the left feels like your current one, and then you've been moving and working towards this other one. I've got this sense that it's to do with your work. Feels like something that you're doing, something you're creating, something that you've been working towards or moving towards that is taking you from one state of being or doing to another state of being or doing. I feel like this is connected with work. So I'm imagining taking you off the bridge, putting you back on this solid ground on this side where you originally were, and then wiping the bridge off that just is not changing. And let's see what we need to do from there. I feel like this other landmass feels right. This landmass feels right. The bridge doesn't feel right. So now what I feel between these two places, between these two land masses, that we just create this, just a little, it's like a little suspension bridge. It's just a temporary bridge because these land masses are moving together. They're eventually going to become one. So whatever you're feeling separated with in regards to work, and probably connected with your physical location, they might be linked here. The distance that you're feeling, the obstacles that you feel, the gaps here are actually coming together. The land masses are joining. So these parts of your life that felt separate are actually becoming one. It could be too like your work and your location. It does feel like there's some discord here, like I can't do my work here kind of thing, but I can do my work there. So it sort of feels like they're linked together somehow, and you've been trying to bridge the gap or get to this place where you can do your work. But actually, if you can do your work from here and then let the land masses join, let them come together naturally, then they're going to work together much more coherently. It doesn't mean slightly, but also ever so deeply. So we've got a little suspension bridge. It feels temporary. And I feel like you can go across to the bridge to the other side and you can come back again. So there's this sense of two-way flow here. But there's also going to be, because it's a sort of temporary bridge, it's also going to shift away as the land masses end up conjoining. They will come together as one. So you can trust in the unfolding of this dynamic and this relationship between work and location. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. It might be something slightly different, but that's what I'm feeling strongly. And your bridging of that, your relationship with these two things. So I feel with this sort of shift and bringing you back, taking you off that sort of bridge sort of thing, I can feel energy calming down in your belly. It feels a little less stressed. I don't know if stressed or anxious. There's just a calming down feeling here in your belly. In fact, your whole body's feeling calmer and accepting. There's an acceptance feeling too. Let's grab a card here, see what this wants to add for you, Kanti. So the best card to add is, we'll go with this one from Healing Energy Cards, Deck 2. And we have a Flowing Free cards 97. It's in neutral. It says complete surrender. In surrender there is peace. Move with each step. Participate actively in your life. You can trust in the direction that you're going. So there is a flow here, a flowing with this joining of things, with the bridging of things, with the things that feel separate coming together, and a freedom as well. Interesting. Okay, thanks, Kanti. I trust this makes sense and resonates with you. Thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's see who's next. Next on my list is this person. This is Nicki Mohler. Nicki, please take a nice big breath. Let's see what comes up for you today. Oh, I see a name jumped out. Go back in. I must have been a second one held. So I should still have 3 left. Yes. Okay, Nicki Mohler. So we're about halfway through now. If you would like to be on the healing list for next month, then please have a look at the video description. You'll find a link to my Patreon, and at the $50 US or higher, you'll automatically be included in this healing event next month, and other things too. So, Nicki, your best card is this Healing Energy Cards Deck 1, and we have Sacred Love, card 40. It's in the depth category. And it says, take your self-love to deeper levels. Improvement in your relationships, including your relationship with yourself. Explore, go inward, and initiation. I love those words. Go inward. Go inward. I was already thinking and feeling that as I was reading. I was feeling this energy drawing in. So there's this drawing in feeling here, coming in through the heart, in through the solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus just above your navel. So a drawing in feeling and a drawing in and down. So there's something perhaps that's distracting you, or something that's stressing you perhaps, or something external that's taking up your attention. And I'm feeling just bring the energy in, bring it inward. And there's this sense of calm that comes in with this, but also calm that comes with a solution. I feel like this is where you'll find the solution that you're looking for, or you'll find the clarity for what your next move is, or whatever it is that you need around this situation, is that you will find the answers inward. So with all this noise, all this clutter, all this drama that's happening out here, it's like now just putting you in a bubble. You're in the middle of the storm, if you like, in the middle of the hurricane, and you're in the eye of the storm. You're in this bubble, and we draw energy inward. So drawing down and in, the energy becomes quieter. You may want to really slow your breathing down and connect with your inner place. So for me, when I'm connecting with my inner place, I'm sort of bringing my awareness to my body. I'm bringing my awareness to me, to my breathing if I need to as well, to the feeling of the air moving around on my skin, the feeling of the clothes and material touching my body, the feel of the floor under my feet, or my socks or shoes or grass or whatever I might have under my feet. So really just becoming more and more sensitive to my body is how I sort of go inward. So going inward, calling yourself, calling the energies inward, leaving all the drama and all the chaos and all the storm out there, not pulling that in, but just drawing your energy in. So there's a sense of reconnection, a reconnection with yourself, a reconnection with your breath, your body, and what's important to you. And what you need in this moment too, Nikki. Maybe you need a bit of pause. Maybe you need just a bit of time to reconnect and catch your breath. Maybe you need a bit of self-love. Take your self-love to deeper levels. Yeah, so this Sacred Love card, it is about taking that concept of self-love deeper inward. So it's dropping deeper inside. So now we've pulled our energy inward, in towards your body, in towards yourself. Just allowing the energy to continue to calm down. It does feel like this bubble sort of around you, just keeping you protected, keeping you detached in some ways from the drama, and allowing this space to calm down. Just holding in this for a moment. Now I'm drawn down to your legs, and I can feel energy coming up from the earth, like this rhythmic red, brown, earthy energies sort of spiraling up in this rhythm, almost like a drum beating, or a rhythm that's moving up from the earth, and it sort of wraps itself around your legs all the way up to your hips. And it's helping you ground now. It's helping you find your physical feet, finding your physical bearings, and ground yourself back into your physical body. And so with your lower half, I'm sort of feeling very grounded and anchored into the earth. I'm being drawn now up to your shoulders, where I'm feeling some burdens here that are hovering, that are hanging around, like a pesky fly or insect of some sort, a mosquito that's just sort of hovering and buzzing right here in your ears. Just something's hovering here over your shoulders that feels quite agitating and irritating. So just bring our attention to that. So it feels hovering, but it feels very buzzy, like an annoying insect or two. I just want to call it one, but I feel like it's happening on both sides. And just lifting that energy up and away. So lifting it up and basically pushing it out of this field, this bubble that's been created around you. So pushing it up and out, the agitations and the irritations that are weighing you down. And as you breathe out, think about letting go of the stress and the tension, and allowing peace to come in. Now, the energy that's come up from the earth, that's really grounded and stabilized the lower part of your body, your legs basically. Now that's lifting up. So instead of lifting up in a spiral like this, it's just lifting up a bit like a sheet. So it's lifting up from your hips and up through your torso, up over your head as well. And then it tucks in over your head and then just lifts up like a cord that connects out through your crown and goes up into the universe above. So this grounded energy is coming in and encasing you and just helping stabilize. It feels like a stabilizing energy. And as it's coming up through this cord, so your connection cord from your crown to spirit, I can feel it then funnel back down through the cord that runs from there inside your body, down in through your spine, all the way down to your tailbone, and then back out your tailbone and down into the earth. So we have this energy coming up, goes all the way up, and then it comes back down through the center. So up on the outside, down through the center. So we've got this circulating energy coming up and from the outside down through the center, and it just keeps circulating around. So it's this energy that's moving. It's a rhythm again, this rhythm, this finding the rhythm of your life, getting into the new rhythm of your life as well that's coming in. You may be really drawn to rhythmic things like the drum or some certain music that has a rhythm that repeats itself, like Ludovico Einaudi, the great composer on the piano. He does very mesmerizing, just repetitive, it's quite often just repetitive rhythms over and over again, but it's just so relaxing. And so rhythmic. So there's just this rhythmic feeling that's calling you, and it's a rhythm. It's a bit like, the heartbeat, the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of your heart, the rhythm of your life, and syncing up with that to help you get through the chaos and the drama that's out there. So I'm going to leave you with that, Nikki. Let's grab a card to add here as we finish up. Trust that makes sense. And we have the best card to add here is this from the second deck, and it is Radiance, card 85. This is in neutral. It says glow from within. Well, there we go. Shine your light. Don't brag or overpower or force yourself onto others. Be at peace with yourself. Be at peace with others. So this is very much highlighting that peaceful energy, and that it radiates from inside of you. Rather than trying to bring peace to situations around you, find peace within yourself, and it will ripple out from you out into those situations and relationships. So that's that. Thanks, Nikki. I trust this resonates and makes sense. Thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, I'm going to have another drink. I trust everyone's doing well over there in YouTube land. Okay, we have 3 more people left on the list today. The next person is this person. It's Jane Corlett. Jane, take a nice big breath and let's see what comes up for you today. All right. Okay, as I'm tuning in, I'm already feeling this sort of straightening out feeling. It's sort of weird, isn't it? Feels like things are straightening out. The path is straightening out. It feels less windy as before. There's a straightening out feeling. So like I feel like I just want to straighten out my legs, straighten out the body. Let's go with this card for you, Jane, from first deck. It's Stillness, card 26. In the neutral category, it says self-healing, inner peace, silence and meditation may be helpful. self-discipline, self-control, prayer, quiet, throat chakra, be at peace. And she's so peaceful. And there's a real emphasis here on the throat chakra with this golden lotus. And it sort of comes up and connects here with the crown and then spirals or waves up beyond the crown. So something very peaceful in here, peaceful in your throat, peaceful with your voice, peaceful in how you used to perhaps be a bit more forceful or a bit more directive or a little bit more assertive vocally. There's something that's humbled you, I feel, because I feel like your voice, your way, your mannerisms in communicating have quietened and have become more peaceful. And I feel that that is a good thing. And I feel like there's a time and a place for being peaceful in communication. There's a time and a place for needing to be assertive in communication. So feeling that now, it feels nice. It feels like this actually comes in and it feels like it ripples down or flows down through the throat or from the throat down into your heart, down into your solar plexus chakra as well, where it feels like your general sense of personal power, your general sense of power, where your power comes from, this also feels like it's calmed down a lot. I feel like there's a lot that these last few years have taught you about your power, but also about your peace. And we could probably relate those together, you know, if you look back and go, wow, what have I learned about the power that I thought I was, or my personal power, and what have I thought or changed in my thoughts about peace. It feels like there's this power and this peace that's really shifted in the last few years that you've learned. So the power feels like it's becoming more peaceful, and the peace in some ways feels like it's becoming more powerful, even though that's not quite the best word for that now. It's like peace is becoming more dominant or more important perhaps than it was before, and the power was perhaps a bit more dominant or a bit more important before. So that's backing off, and the importance of the peace feels like it's stepping forward. Now peace may not be the best word. It's probably something more like a patience or a quiet or a reconnective sort of feeling here. So you don't have to use the word peace, but that sort of energy feels like it's now come to the fore. It's now more important now, more valuable than before. So this has been a really good gift, a really valuable gift, I feel, that you've learned in the last few years. So the peace comes in, it sits here in your throat. It's already come down through your heart to your solar plexus chakra, just really emphasizing this shift in dynamic and shift in value between power and peace. And now the peace flows down to your sacral chakra. Now at your sacral chakra, it feels thirsty for this energy. So your sacral chakra is just below your navel. This is your center for emotional, sexual, creative energies. How could I describe how it feels? Well, first of all, it feels thirsty. So this sort of energy of peace that's flowing down here, it feels thirsty down here. So it's really soaking it up. It's spreading out in this area. So this area feels a little larger or a little more fuller perhaps at this time. It's sort of filling out. It does feel a bit like a sponge in here. So it may also mean too, and actually it does, that sponge energy is really good, because as I'd say sponge, I'm now feeling this sponge really quite heavy with emotion and heavy with water. Like it feels, if I pick up this sponge, it's just dripping, like it's so full of water. Now as I say that it's so full of water, energy starts moving in my heart here. So I feel this energy pushing up, and it feels uncomfortable. This is also now pushing up into the throat, which is also feeling uncomfortable. So this is where I know that I'm going down a rightish track, because it's stimulating and stirring other areas in the body. So I feel like we need to either get rid of this sponge or wring it out. We're probably going to get rid of it, but we'll just determine that at the time. So I imagine that we pick out this sponge. It's like a big sponge that you wash your car with. Pick it up like this. It's very heavy. So it feels very heavy in here. Heavy with emotion, heavy with perhaps old stuff. But because it's so watery, it just feels like emotion. Maybe this is just stuff you've bottled up over the years. But picking it up like this is so heavy, it's just dripping with water, dripping with liquid, dripping with emotion. I actually just want to get rid of it. I feel like we don't need to wring it out and put it back in. It feels like an old sponge. It's well worn, it's well used, and it's been well soaked. Like any sponge that has been soaked for a long period of time, it starts decaying. So we don't need that now, is what I feel strongly now at this point. So just flick it down here, drop it to the ground. It actually drops with a bit of a thug, like we've just dropped a brick to the ground, and it just soaks back into the earth and returns back to love. Now there's a space now, a hollow. It doesn't feel that comfortable yet here in your sacral chakra where that sponge has been removed. It feels like it moves out, like out from the inside to the back. So it feels like it moves into the lower back area as well. So where this sponge was, it's been removed. It is feeling uncomfortable in here. It does feel heavy. It does feel dark. Maybe there's also some questions like, who am I if I don't feel this way? Or who am I if I don't keep running with this story or this scenario or this drama or whatever it is? So there feels like questioning your identity, questioning your roles that you play, questioning who you are without this problem or without this emotion, without this entanglement. So there's a lot uncomfortable here. There's a lot to be questioned about who you are with this removed, which is also a really good thing, even though it feels uncomfortable and confronting. So we've got this big space now where this sponge was, and the energy of peace is still moving down. So it's still moved down, it's moved into this area. So we're actually now got room for it to come in. So this peaceful energy comes down, and it's a bit like it feels like a white light, like a wispy white light, and it flows down and just sort of really lovingly just spirals. It just circulates, actually. It circulates around in your sacral chakra, all around. So we're including, if it was an empty cavity that went right round to your lower back, all around it's just circulating around here, like if you were to watch clothes spin in a washing machine. There's sort of that spinning and circulating here of peace. And what it feels like it's doing is it feels like it's coating all the inside of your sacral chakra with peace, because I feel like there's like remnants of this energy that's been left behind, almost like we're rubbing cream all into this whole area with this white peaceful light. So it's already starting to feel more comfortable in here and more acceptable, let's say, or accepting perhaps. They're probably not quite the best words, but it feels calmer in here. And it also feels like it's shrinking a little bit. It doesn't need to be so open. Oh, not open. Open's not the best word. It doesn't need to be so, what's the right word for this? It just feels stretched, perhaps. It doesn't need to be so stretched to fit that wet sponge in. We can let it sort of naturally just shrink down to where it wants to be, and be okay with that. So yeah, it's shrinking down from being so stretched. Now this peaceful energy has left what it needs to leave there. It's leaving energy remnants of itself behind everywhere it's flowing, and now it flows. It divides there at your base chakra. It divides and goes down your legs and down to the soles of your feet, where it circulates around here and finding peace with your body, finding peace with your steps that you're taking and the path that you're taking in your life. This feels good. Let's grab a card to add here for you. Let's take another nice big breath, Jane. And the best card to add as we finish this off is... there's a strong sense of receiving too I'm feeling now, like letting yourself receive. It's from the second deck, and we've got the Tree of Life card, 106. This is in the depth category. It says, life calls you. Your roots are growing. See the beauty all around. Everything moves in cycles. Some cycles are easier than others. Be patient, and lessons to learn. Interesting. So there is a groundedness here. There's a balance as well that's coming in with this card, and a patience. Be patient with yourself. So I trust that makes sense and supports you. Thanks for your support, Jane. Namaste. Okay, the energy is very nice. Let's see who's next. Pop these back, take a quick drink. Okay, 2 people left. And the next person, no, the other person's still in there. They haven't jumped out. It's Carol White. Carol, you're next. Take a nice big breath and let's see what is loudest in your vibration today. There is something exciting but calm that I'm feeling. The best card to start is this Healing Energy cards 2. And we have Own Your Power. Own your power to move forward. Move forward with strength. Strengthen yourself. Take ownership of your power in a healthy, empowering and proactive way and proceed. And it does feel like there's this movement forward feeling. It feels like the turtle has left somewhere and it's got its attention is turned, it's going somewhere else now. So there is this sense of freedom and a empowering feeling with that. Like you did what you needed to do, you achieved what you needed to achieve, you accomplished what you needed to accomplish. Now you can swim forward from here and set your sights on something else. So you've passed the test, you've done what needed to be done, all is well. Now you can move forward with confidence and freedom. There is certainly a freedom feeling, almost like the turtle doesn't even have a shell on its back anymore. It's like free of burden, it's free of pressure, it's free of tension, and it can go anywhere it wants to a degree. So there is this sense of freedom, and it pulls forward here from your heart. I feel like you've worked very hard for this freedom, and you've spoken a lot too. That's what I mean. If I backtrack, I feel like there's a lot of words that have been spoken and words that have been expressed that have also, what am I looking for here? Been needed or have been required to be able to do to break free in this way. So there's a lot that's needed to be said so that you could break those chains and be able to move forward, to even remove that shell from your back. And the shell has its place as well, and it'll probably come back later as a protection or as the home or as the security that you need. But there's just this sense of, you know, taking the shell off and just removing the chains and moving free. Now I feel energy moving here in your lower back, Carol, that feels a bit heavy here. I feel like this is an old chain. It's an old chain that trails back through your past. It's very rusty and it's an old chain. It feels like perhaps like one of the final chains to cut on this transformative transitional period that you've been in with cutting ties and cutting cords, and the cutting away or the moving away, the dancing away from this such a long period of your life. That there's an old chain, so it's very rusty, it's very old, it feels quite small, so it's probably something embedded perhaps as a value or something like that from childhood. You know, work hard until you die or whatever it might be, something like that, that just now needs to be cut or now needs to be actually removed, not even cut. I feel like I want to pull this out. It feels like it's an old rusty chain, like what may have moored an old boat for years, and the chain's rusting, and the spot where it's pinned to the buoy or the stand or wherever it's to the wharf or jetty or wherever it's pinned to. I feel like that pin, that connection point, is also rusty, and that's also breaking down. So it feels like it's corroded. Over time, it's corroded. You're not going to need this chain going forward. As I follow the chain out, so out from your body, it trails back into your past. I also feel it does a loop around your body first and then goes back into the past. So every now and then it's tugged on, and maybe this feeling of guilt or this feeling of fear about, have I made the right decision? Is this the right thing for me to do? Am I going to be okay if I do this? So it does feel to be wrapped around your body as well as another holding you back sort of mechanism. So what I want to do is just tug on this chain that's sort of pinned here at your lower back. Tug on that. I might also just say right now that this is the lower back, is the back of your sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is your area for emotional, sexual, creative energies. And at the back, it's usually the past. So it feels like something that's you're emotionally tied to from the past. So just giving this a tug, just a few tugs, and it breaks free from its pin because it's ready to go anyway. And then just untying it from around you, and then just pulling on this chain, just collecting it up into this big pile, and just letting it soak now down into the earth where it returns back to love. And already there's this really deep sense of freedom, like something has just shifted, something's just sunk, something's just left your space that was there basically your whole life, is the feeling. And it feels light, but it didn't even feel really that heavy before. So it's just very interesting. So this calm also is coming in over your body, a peace of mind, an assurance and a reassurance that a recognition, really, a recognition of the hard work that you have put in and what you have achieved to get to this point in your life, that this is a turning point for you. I see an hourglass, so the hourglass is basically highlighting timing, and that there is a strong timing element that's involved in this particular situation. So timing is involved. I mean, it's always involved anyway, but I feel like there's just this emphasis around timing, and you can trust in perfect timing. You can trust that the timing of things happens at the right time. So that also brings with it a sense of acceptance and a less of a sense of a push, more of a flow sort of feeling here as well. And now this energy just moves out across. So this part of your body where the chain was pinned in your lower back, this whole area feels like it's expanding across, almost like the energy's been ironed flat instead of being all crinkled and tight and bunched up. It's sort of been ironed flat, which is a bit strange, but I'll just go with it. So it feels like it's ironing flat, and it's like you're wearing this sort of flat tutu now, this tutu that you've been wearing on your waist or on your hips, and it feels like it's ironed flat. It's like this little ledge here. It's a little dance of sorts. It's a celebration of what you've achieved and this point that you've reached in your life. It comes back to a youthful feeling, like wearing a tutu for fun or to play. So there's something playful and fun about this, and this ironing it out so the creases aren't there. It's not bunched up or tucked in under other things. It's now there and being worn proudly. It's almost like a symbol of transition as you transition from one place in your life to another place. So let's grab a card to add here for you, Carol, and see what this wants to be. Let's go with this card here from the second deck, and it is Incoming Clarity, card 87. So this is clarity. This is energy really opening up and moving. It says a new level of thinking. Open your mind. Be patient. Clarity is coming. Trust in perfect timing. Creative thinking. Remain curious, and positivity. I feel like something really exciting is coming. And I feel like as you move out of the old and further out of the chains and into your freedom, I feel like something new is going to present itself. Something new that you can't see yet. So this is just like a trust in where you're going as you're moving in towards the unknown, as you're moving towards that dark doorway, the shadowy that's up ahead that you don't know, the unknown basically, that you can trust that you're going in the right direction and something is going to reveal itself at the right time. So keep going. This is exciting. In fact, this feels a bit like the sun in this card, now revealing itself a little bit more. So actually you're not swimming away from that, you're swimming towards it. You see, like this is in the front, you're swimming towards the light, and then as you get closer it's going to reveal itself more clearly to you, instead of being just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Sort of just surrendering to it and just trusting in, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. In fact, this ankh, this symbol here, has a black, almost like a starry, but this feels like that unknown doorway that's calling you in. So something's going to be revealing itself before too long. So I trust that makes sense. Thanks so much, Carol. Thanks for your support, and namaste. Okay, let's pop these back, which means we have one person left. And you've been very patient there. One person who we know who it is. That person and I. And that person is Robin. Shock horror. It's you, Robin. Robin Hippler, you're next. So please take a nice big breath, and it's so lovely to be connecting with you again. So thank you for this opportunity. So Robin, oh, what's going on with you? Take a nice big breath, and there is a strength in you I can feel. Let's see which card we've got. We'll go with this one. It's from the first deck, Healing Energy Cards 1. And it's Healing Hands, card 22. It's in the action category here. It says hands, creativity, expression, building, making, caring, nurturing, receiving, emitting, extension, intentions, bring something into form. This is an extension of you, but it's also healing. So there's a lot of healing energy that's coming in. In fact, my healing hands, my hands for healing, if I was doing hands-on healing, are activated. So there's healing energy that's coming through to you very strongly right now, Robin. So allow yourself to receive what you need. And I feel healing hands want to come in here just to the sides. Where are we? Where's the navel? Just to, sort of like under the rib cage, just slightly down and under the rib cage, at the very bottom of the rib cage. The hands want to come in here. So I'm imagining now that I'm putting my hands on you here and allowing the healing energy to come forward. Now, as the healing energy comes in, and I want to keep my hands here, but as it comes in, I feel like it's going in. It feels like it's breaking something down, like something crystallized, something solidified, something calcified, something that's become hard, something that's become hard and rigid. And it's breaking this rigidity, it's breaking the hardness down and breaking it up. So if it becomes, say, one solid crystal, it's breaking it up into like chipped off crystals. And these chipped off crystals are basically accumulating in the middle between these two areas, right, actually at the solar plexus chakra, and then are lifting up through the body, up through here and out through the mouth. So out with your out breath. As you breathe out, you're breathing out sort of these energetic, broken down crystals of what's become hard and calcified and solidified within your body, Robin, especially within this area. So we're looking very much at the solar plexus chakra, the zone here of the solar plexus. There is a sickly feeling that I'm feeling down, deep down in the sacral chakra, like right down in your womb, that feels sickly. There's a nauseous feeling. Nauseous feelings, although they're not that great, like the feeling of them, they're actually a really good sign, because it shows me that there's energy in you that's also stored right down here in your belly that wants to come up and be removed. You know, like a nauseous feeling, that's like a vomit feeling, and it comes up from the belly and out. So this is a good sign that energy also wants to move right down here in your sacral chakra. So there's old emotions that's sitting very heavy down in your belly. It feels almost like if we had a pool of water, a rock pool, and the rocks and the sand all drops to the bottom part of that rock pool because it's heaviest. So the heaviest stuff is sinking right down to the bottom of the rock pool of your sacral chakra. So it feels heavy down there. It feels clearer on the top. So on the surface, things are probably reasonably clear. like a rock pool. You've got the clearest water at the top, the sun shines through, it's all nice. Even the rocks look pretty from up there, but it feels like the rocks are the weight. The rocks are the stuff that it's the burden. It's the burden's probably not, well, maybe it is okay word to use, but it feels like a heavy emotional energy that's perhaps sits very much privately and personally inside you. It's probably on the surface, and in general perhaps things are fairly clear and okay and calm, but it's like underneath there's this gut feeling of something that sits here in the pit. It actually makes me feel quite emotional, like it's probably something that's happened from the past that is so difficult that it's not something you can talk about, and it's not something that can easily go away either. So it's like there's just this deep memory, this deep experience, perhaps a traumatic experience that's tucked away down here, buried away down there. Sometimes the waters are stirred up and it probably infects or impacts part of your sort of more everyday life, but I feel for the most part you've figured out a way to keep it buried down there. Now the interesting thing is that nauseous feeling that I had here, especially at the sort of earlier part of this sort of section, makes me feel that this energy wants to come out. But there's also a part of me that sort of is questioning that, because I'm thinking, well, if it's a difficult thing to get rid of and you've figured out a way to cope with it and sort of lock it away in some ways so that you can function in your everyday life still with this inside you, I feel like I want to really commend you on that. But I do have to trust, I feel, that first feeling of that energy wanting to come up, that heavy energy got my attention and it wants to come up and out. I feel like in some ways it's expanded into these other areas, like especially around your solar plexus, with that healing energy really breaking down that hardness that felt like it had sort of calcified in this area of your body, that sort of broke it up and pulled this out through your out breath. I feel like that opened the gateway to be able to access this heavy energy. So it feels like a big solid stone down here, black, volcanic, glassy, looking like an obsidian sort of, and it feels like it's got sharp edges, very glassy, sharp cut, like naturally cut, but it feels sharp, and it makes me feel like it cuts you. It cuts you so deep. In fact, it's probably permanently cutting you on some very deep, quiet level, like internal, private level. So I feel like now the more I look into this, I definitely need to pull this up and out. So let's see what we need to do. It's still more we need to talk about around this. I feel like the heaviness and the sharpness is also affecting your ability to be able to really step forward in your life and do the things that you would like to do. Perhaps there is a bit of a hesitation or a fear that sort of sits underneath in this sort of black energy, this obsidian energy, this glassy energy. Now, I'm saying all sorts of muddled words because now I'm getting this very heavy pressure that's coming around the head. So this is showing that there's an emotional tie, but it's also a very mental tie that's linked in here as well. So this is also affecting you around the head. So with your mind, I'm also feeling a pressure that's now coming in around the back of your skull and the back of your neck from the past. So it feels very much like a suppressed energy. In fact, I feel like I could burst into tears any moment. It just feels so deeply emotional and so deeply tied in with everything who you are. I feel links back to this this one big heavy rock here, and what this represents that's here in your sacral chakra. So I wanted to send you love here, Robin, and just hold you here in love, an acknowledgement of even just this fraction that I'm feeling of what you carry with you every single day. And so I feel like just such strong release of emotion here. There's so much emotion just needs to release. It's like this build up over all this time, and release so that you can feel some sense of relief and normality, because maybe this has been infecting areas of your life more than you would like it to, and more than it usually does. So I feel like I want to get this out. The more I connect with it, the more I feel it's impacting in a not so great way, perhaps quite a terrible way in some ways, the rest of your body and your life. It feels sharper. The more I connect with it, it feels sharper. The edges feel sharper. It feels blacker. It feels darker. It feels bigger than even originally, because originally it felt like just a little nice little river stone. It doesn't feel like that now. So I feel like, that's probably what you've had to do to be able to cope and move through and live with this. And there's a lot of respect that I have for you to be able to do that. But my job here is to support you with your healing. And I feel that the more I connect with this, the more it needs to go. And now I can just feel, let's just get rid of it. We don't need to hover in this any longer. I feel like it's hovering, it's hovered in you for so long anyway. It doesn't need to, not anyway, we'll pretend I didn't say that. It's hovered in you for so long that it's time to release it at another level now. So now my feeling, what I'm feeling upon is, how do we release this? What's the best way to do it? And if I trust my first feeling of just this nauseous feeling of I'd be moving it up and out, I don't feel like I want to do that now. It feels just so sharp. It feels like energetically it sort of could cut you up on the way out, and I wouldn't want that. I feel like I just need to go straight into the source. So I feel actually my spiritual surgeon, Marion, has stepped forward. He's been hanging around for a little bit just in the last few minutes. He stepped forward here from the right, just the right at the front here. And he's come forward now. So he's cutting open very low down in your sacral chakra, right, really low down, like right there just above your pubic area, basically, right deep down in your womb. And he makes an incision here and pushes this out. Now, it might sound weird, but it actually feels like, it feels like I don't even know if I want to say it, but I can't not say it. And I say it as compassionately as I can, but it feels like a dead fetus or a dead part of you that's being in here. It feels so sad, so sad. So it's almost like, it just reminds me a bit of like having a cesarean and just pulling out a part of you that's passed away, that looks like basically a shriveled up fetus, and it's just not, it's not pleasant. So just holding you now here in love and in loving arms here, Robin, as you let this go. So it just is pushed out, pulled out, and now it's like it was a living thing, and like a painful living thing to live with. So now we just gently, like really gently, just lay this part of you down to the earth, and we lay this part of you to rest out of your body now. Lay it to rest. It's not something you need to further carry with you. You lay it to rest. So we're laying it to rest down here on the ground. The tears, I mean, there's just so much emotion here. So I feel like tears just flowing down and flowing down over this part of you as it's been laid to rest. Just all this emotion just gushing out with it. And all this like a weeping energy that's been stacked and stored in your sacral chakra, that also just sort of gushes out and washes out over this part of you. It's like a cleansing, a really deep cleansing. And just letting go, especially emotionally, but we can also say mentally and physically, but especially emotionally right now, just letting go, letting it all pour out. It's pouring out of the heart, it's pouring out of the sacral chakra, it's pouring out of the face. In fact, it's pouring probably out of all of you. Every cell is just being poured out. It's just this deep, deep, deep release. And so with the release comes relief. And the relief is starting to replace the release. So this part of you that's been laid to rest, like literally right down here at your feet, it's laid to rest almost in its own little grave here, its own little memorial place. but out of your body. This feels to be very important. So letting that go and just stepping back a little bit now. This is sacred ground now in front of you. So this ground is going to follow you everywhere you go. And it's not that this burden follows you. It's just I don't know if I can really say the gift in it, but the gift or the blessing, whatever the blessing is, that this carries around, or is something to keep in mind perhaps as something very sacred. See, I don't exactly know what I'm talking about here. I don't know what this relates to. So I'm just trusting what I'm feeling as it's going. But it feels like sacred ground under your feet. And there's something very, what's the word? Something very, I feel like I want to go like conservative, traditional, something very sacred. There's another word here. About this ground. It's sacred ground. It's a ground to respect. Like there's something noble. There's something privileged. There's something to remember. There's something to value about this sacred ground now upon which you stand and which you walk, because that is the ground underneath you this whole time. Now this pain has turned into something, or is turning into something sacred. And I'm not quite sure what the exact best word is here, but there is something very valuable, but something traditional, something conservative, something noble about this blessing. So with that, I'm seeing you standing on solid ground, sacred ground here, Robin, and growing or pulling yourself up now, up and strong, up and straight. Strong doesn't matter right now. It's up and straight. So straight, like you stand on the sacred ground, your feet like absolutely honoured to be here on this sacred ground now, like fertile ground, sacred ground, holy ground. It's like the ground where a battle took place, like a big war or a big battle of some sort, and it's a sad place, but it's also very sacred because of, well, the souls that were lost there and the battle that took place there. I don't know what you technically call this in a word, but that's what it feels like. So you're standing on this ground. It's something that you are privileged to do, and you stand tall now from that sacred ground. So you might not necessarily feel strong. I feel a sense of relief, and I feel a sense of straightness, like a return to power, a return to connection, a return to normality in some ways, but being propped on or stood on this really holy sacred ground. And that's all you need right now. I don't feel like there's no full feel of pulling forward. There's just a feeling of pulling together and straightening up. And that through that straightening comes strength. So your body feels a great sense of relief. And my spiritual surgeon has already tended to this opening, is what I've just realised too, because I just thought, I haven't been back and closed that, but it's actually already closed. So he's already sorted that out. So everything as I scan your body feels good. So just allowing things to settle now and integrate, and the changes to find their place in your body, in your life. I'm going to pull a card to add here now for this, Robin. And I trust this is making sense. Hi, Martin. So the best card to add to finish this off for you is this. It's from the first deck, and it's Spirit Message, card 12, and it says, pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities. Your intuition is awakening. Listen to the guidance within, and your spiritual team supports you. So this is a message really from your loved ones in spirit. And it feels also very sacred. I love these golden lights, just almost like codes flying in around this illustration. and it feels sacred, and it feels like this sacred, so almost holy energy is sort of bouncing up from the ground, bouncing up over you as these golden lights, bouncing around and activating parts of you that had been perhaps asleep or had been quiet or had been shut down, perhaps based on this particular energy. So something's awakening, something's activated, and there is a strong sense of connection here with your loved ones in spirit. You can trust in the signs and the synchronicities, and I trust this makes sense to you, Robin, and thank you for your support. I recommend going gently because this has been quite a deep healing. So I'd drink lots of water, listen to your body, be kind and gentle to yourself, and just allow this energy, this new configuration to find its place. See how it's going to feel for you and fit for you moving forward. And thank you very much. Thanks, Robin. Namaste. Okay, thank you all. I will be back. What day is it today? I'll be back, I think, on Monday, the 31st of March, with our Healing List event. So that will be happening, I don't know, it's registered, it's coming up, so you should be able to see it as an upcoming live stream. So we'll be doing that on Monday. And if you want to be a part of this type of healing event next month, then you're very welcome to join me on Patreon. So thanks for joining me today. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you.